Hello my dear students, how are you? I hope all of you are fine and staying at home safely. This is your teacher Nasim Ahmed from Ideal Public School Kathigora. This is the last video of this series and this is the second part of the numericals. The first part I have already uploaded, so go check that video first, then come back to this video. And here also I have chosen some random questions and I have tried to discuss the solution of those questions. So I hope you will understand each and every questions thoroughly, and this is the last video until and unless you ask me to rediscuss any topic. So without any further ado, let's get started. Students, let's see the first question of this video. This is the 16th question of your exercise. So the question says an object of mass 100 kg is accelerated uniformly from a velocity of 5 meter per second to 8 meter per second in 6 seconds. Calculate the initial and final momentum of the object. Also find the magnitude of the force exerted on the object. So you see what the question says? The question says that there is an object whose mass is 100 kilogram. So it is accelerated. That means it is changing the motion, okay, by applying some kind of force, some kind of external force. Its acceleration is changed, okay. So the initial velocity is 5 meter per second, and after applying the force the velocity changes to 8 meter per second, and the duration in which the force acts on the body or on the object is 6 seconds. So we need to calculate the initial and the final momentum, then we need to calculate the magnitude of the force exerted, okay. So here this question has two parts. As you can see, you need to find firstly the initial and final momentum, and we know the formula of momentum is mass into velocity. So we have the velocity, we know the mass, we can easily calculate out the final and initial momentum, okay. Then we have to find out the force also, okay. So we'll apply some kind of formula to solve this one. So let's see how it is done. So you see, first we will write given mass is given as in the question, it is 100 kilogram, and we have the initial velocity, this is 5 meter per second, and final velocity 8 meter per second. We know the time is how much? 6 seconds, as you can see in the question. So what is the formula for momentum? We know mass into velocity. So initial momentum, that means mu, okay. So mass is 100 and u is 5. It is 500 kilogram meter per second. So this is the initial momentum. What will be the final momentum? So the formula for final momentum will be mv. M is 100 and the final velocity is 8. It is 800 kilogram meter per second. By this way we have completed the solution for finding the initial momentum and the final momentum. Now we'll proceed towards finding the force, okay. So you see, for force, from the Newton's second law of motion we know force F equal to ma. So we have mass but we don't have acceleration. But one thing you know, that for acceleration, for finding out acceleration, we know acceleration is the rate of change of velocity. That means we can say v minus u by t. So what is v? The value of v is given here, it is 8 and u is 5, then divided by 6 as the time is 6. So it will be 3 by 6, that means 0.5 meter per second square. This is the acceleration, okay. So now we can put this value of a on this formula where we have force F equal to m into a. So m is 100 and a is 0.5, okay. So now we can write, if you multiply both then you will get 50 Newton. So this is the answer. This is the answer of this part, okay. So firstly we have got the initial momentum as 500 kilogram meter per second and the final momentum as 800 kilogram meter per second. This is the first part, and for the second part we have found out the amount of acceleration, okay. then we have multiplied it with m, and from this Newton's second law the force is 50 Newton. So this is the end of this question. This question was very much easy, so I hope you have understood. Let's see the next question, students. So here is the next question. This is 18th question of your exercise. So you see the question says, how much momentum will a dumbbell of mass 10 kg transfer to the floor if it falls from a height of 80 cm? Take its downward acceleration to be 10 meter per second. So here I have drawn this one. You see, if you consider this one as a dumbbell, so dumbbell is a equipment which you use in gym, okay? So this one is a dumbbell and it is of mass 10 kg, and this is the ground, and it is at a height of 80 centimeter, and if it falls from that height, okay, then the acceleration is 10 meter per second. The acceleration is 10 meter per second square. So if this is the case, then you need to find the momentum which it will transfer to the ground, okay? So you need to find basically the momentum. So for that, you see the formula of momentum we know, momentum equal to mv. So mass we have, but we don't have this v, so we need to find the final velocity. So let's see how it is done. So students, here you have given mass of dumbbell is 10 kilogram, okay? Then you have initial velocity. So what will be the initial velocity? What do you think? So the dumbbell has started its journey from this height and it is reaching up to the ground, isn't it? So whenever you are taking this dumbbell to this point and then you are just releasing it, that means at the initial point of the velocity would be 0, because here the dumbbell is not moving anywhere, isn't it? When you are holding this, it is not moving anywhere, but when you release it, then it will start moving towards the ground, isn't it? That means at the initial point the velocity would be 0. So initial velocity will be 0, and what is the final velocity? We do not know this one, so this is a question mark. And the acceleration is given here as 10 meter per second square, and we have height, s is how much? 80 centimeter, as this dumbbell is at height 80 centimeter, so we'll denote it with s, okay? So we need to convert it into meter. So how can we convert? We have to divide it by 100, then it will be converted into meter. So it will be 0.8 meter. So now let's see how to find the final velocity. So for finding out the final velocity, we have this formula. This is the third law of motion. So the formula is v square equal to u square plus twice as. So we have the value of u, we have the value of a and s, then we can easily find out the value of v. So what is the value of u? The value of u is 0 square plus 2 into a is 10 and s is 0.8. So if you calculate, 0 square is 0, we will not write it, so plus 2 into, if you multiply 10 with 0.8, it will become 8, so 2 into 8 is 16. Then if you remove this square, it will be root over on the right side, then this is root over 16, and root over 16 is 4 meter per second, okay? So this is the final velocity, and now we know the final velocity, we can easily find out the momentum. Therefore momentum is equal to mv. So m is 10 into v is 4, that is equal to 40 kilogram meter per second. So this is the answer, okay, of this question. So I hope you are understanding it. Let's jump into the next question, students. So let's see the next question. The question says, a truck starts from rest and rolls down a hill with a constant acceleration. It travels a distance of 400 meters in 20 seconds. Find its acceleration, find the force acting on it if its mass is 7 tons. So the question is pretty much easy, so let's understand it. So if you consider this one as a hill, okay, and this truck is rolling down through this hill, and if you say this truck is moving a distance of 400 meters in 20 seconds, so we need to find the acceleration, okay? Then another part is you have you have to find the force acting on it if it has the mass of 7 tons. So let's see how this question can be solved. Students, given u is 0, so how it is 0? So the question is, you see the truck was at rest at the initial time, then it starts rolling down. That means the velocity came later on, but initially it was 0. Okay, so you have u is 0, s is how much? The distance it covered is 400 meter and the time required is 20 seconds. Okay, the mass is 7,000 kilograms. So it says 7 tons, that means 1 ton is 100 kilograms, so 7 ton will be 7,000 kilogram. The value of a would be found out by using this formula. This is the second law of motion. This is s equal to ut plus half at square. We know the value of s, we know the value of u, t, but we don't know the value of a. By this way we will find the value of a. Okay, so let's put the values. S equal to how much? 400 meter, as we know. U is 0, t is 20, half we'll write, a will keep this, and t square, that means 20 into 20. So now what will happen? 400 will be there and this 2 will cut this 20 by 10. Okay, then this 10 will be multiplied with 20, it will be 200 and a is there. Okay, so 200a. So if you keep this a in a side and if you take the 200 on the other side, it will divide with 400 and you will get 2 as an answer. Okay, so the acceleration is 2 meter per second square. So let's see how to find the force. So for finding out force, we have the formula force F equal to ma. So this is the Newton's second law. So from here you will get the value of F. Okay, this is force. So m is how much? M is 7,000 into a is 2, so it will be 14,000 Newton. So this much force is acting on the truck. Okay, so this is the end of this answer. Let's see the next question. Students, see the next question. This question says a rifle of mass 4 kg, a bullet of mass 50 gram is fired with an initial velocity 35 meter per second. Calculate the initial velocity of the recoil of gun. So you see this question is related with the recoil velocity. Okay, so we have discussed this recoil velocity in the third law of Newton's third law of motion. So here you have a rifle of mass 4 kg and the bullet is of mass 50 gram. Okay, so it is fired and the initial velocity of the bullet is 35 meter per second. Okay, and the question says you need to find the recoil velocity, initial recoil velocity. So recoil means whenever this gun fired a bullet, okay, then some kind of force will be acting on the gun in the opposite direction, isn't it? On the rifle or gun, same thing. So this force will be called as recoil. Okay, this force is recoil and the velocity by which it will move in the backward, this will be called as recoil velocity. So let's see how this question can be solved. So here's given initial mass of the rifle is 4 kg as we have already in the question, and if you assume that the initial velocity of the rifle as v, okay, then therefore momentum of the gun or rifle, anything we can say, will be mass into velocity. So it will be 4 into v. Okay, 4 into v. Then we have mass of bullet is 50 gram. So we need to convert it into kilogram. So it will be 50 divided by 1000. So it will be 0.05 kilogram. Okay, and the velocity of bullet will be it is already given, it is 35 meter per second. So therefore momentum of bullet will be mass into velocity. This is 0.05 into 35, so it will be 1.75. So we have the momentum, okay, momentum of bullet, and we have the momentum of the rifle. So now we can say the law of conservation of momentum says momentum of rifle will be equal to momentum of bullet. Okay, So by the law of conservation of momentum, momentum of rifle equal to momentum of bullet. So what is the momentum of rifle? This is 4v, okay, and momentum of bullet is 1.75. Then you have v, 4 is multiplied here, it will be v equal to 1.75 divided by 4, and if you divide it, then you will get 0.43. okay, so this is meter per second. So this is the initial recoil velocity of the gun. Okay, so this is the end of this question. Let's see the next question, students. So here is the next question, and this will be the last question that we will discuss here. Okay, so this will be the ending of this chapter basically. So let's see the question. The question is, a girl of mass 40 kg jumps with a horizontal velocity of 5 meter per second onto a stationary cart with frictionless wheels. The mass of cart is 3 kg. What is her velocity as the cart starts moving? Assume that there is no external unbalanced force working in the horizontal direction. So let's understand the question. So here you see there is a cart and it is not moving, okay, and a girl, her weight is 40 kilogram, has jumped on the cart, okay, and she was moving horizontally. This is horizontal direction, horizontally with 5 meter per second velocity. So this is the case where she is not interacted with the cart. Okay, so let's see what happens when she got interacted with the cart. So students, you see now this girl has jumped on the cart, and we need to find the velocity after jumping on the cart. What is the velocity of the girl and the cart? Okay, so let's see how is the solution. So students, firstly we will find out the momentum, the total momentum of the cart and the girl before she get onto the cart. Okay, so the mass of girl is 40 kilogram, mass of cart is 3 kilogram as we have found in the question. Then we have velocity of girl is 5 meter per second because the girl was moving with 5 meter per second velocity, horizontal velocity in horizontal direction. Then you have velocity of cart. So as the cart is initially it is stationary, that means its velocity will be 0. So what will be the total momentum? So we know the formula of total momentum. So what will be the formula? Formula is m1 u1 plus m2 u2. So it will be m1 is 40 into u1 is 5 plus it is 3 into 0. So it will be 200 kilogram meter per second. So this is the total momentum before interaction. Let's see what happens after interaction. So students, if you consider the velocity of the cart and the girl when the cart just moving is v, okay, that we need to find out. Okay, we will find this v. Okay, so if you consider this one as v, then total momentum after interaction will be, so like when the girl jumped on the cart, then both of them will be a single mass, isn't it? Because the girl is on the cart, so the total mass will be the addition of the mass of the girl and the mass of the cart. So it will be 40, this is the mass of the girl, plus 3, so this is the mass of the cart. So 40 plus 3 kilogram and the velocity is v. Okay, so it will be 43 v kilogram meter per second. So we have got the total momentum after interaction and the total momentum before interaction. So we have, according to the law of conservation of momentum, the momentum, total momentum after interaction will be equal to momentum before interaction. So it will be 43 into v is equal to 200. So we can write v is equal to 200 divided by 43. So if you divide, then you will get 4.65 and it is positive. Okay, so it will be meter per second. So this is the result. This is v, actually the final velocity. Okay, means both are moving on this velocity actually after the interaction between the girl and the cart. So here why this plus sign is there? Because this plus sign defines that the velocity has increased. Okay, earlier the velocity was 0, and after the girl has jumped on the cart, she gained 4.65 meter per second velocity. So this is the answer of this problem. So here this session ends, and I hope you have understood. If you have not understood any question, you can ask me directly, or you can watch this video again, okay, so that you can understand each and every part of this question. So I have tried my level best to make you understand about these numericals, and I hope you have understood. So for any queries, any question, you can ask me in my WhatsApp, or you can directly comment in the comment box here. So students, at last we have come at the end of this chapter. So this is the last video that I have just discussed. So if you have any doubt regarding any topic, so you can directly contact me, or you can ask in this comment box here. So so the main thing is, you have to understand, okay, you have to prepare yourself, otherwise you have exams after this vacation, and then you have to perform very nicely. So in the next videos I will be coming up with another chapter, and I will be discussing that chapter. So stay tuned till the next video come, and you just try to understand from my discussion, and just study hard at your home. Peace out.